End Lane Quarries, but maybe to begin with we'll stick on the lower route and
Okay.
come back the other way. Well, as I say, we're off in search of the Delph Donkey now, so I had originally thought we'd go up to the top and through Den Lane Quarries, but
We're going down
I think
there.
might warm up by going along the canal at first and
it's certainly
maybe come that
cold.
way back. Canal's frozen over.
Yeah, -5.
You can really tell the birds are getting desperate now. I just walked past a couple of dunnocks,
Yes.
which normally fly off, and they're reluctant to move, and one of them even stayed there. So
Good grief.
food is more important than anything for them now. We're just about to pass under the Delph Donkey Line, just before it joins the main line over to my right, nearby the viaduct, and just round the corner we'll get onto it and follow it all the way up to Delph.
How did the donkey trail come
Didn't
about?
get its name, the Delph Donkey Line. They built, after they built the main railway, they built a spur about a mile, 2 miles long into Delph.
Yes.
And in the early days, in Victorian times, the little trains were pulled by horses or donkeys,
Right.
and then later by steam engines. I just about remember them occasionally. Not the donkeys,
Yeah.
they disappeared years ago, but little
Right.
tank engines pulling the train up once or twice a day.
I tell you what, it's cold.
It is cold, yeah. It's still below freezing,
Yeah.
Tame Valley Way, but I'm not sure. There it is.
Yeah, it is.
The main line built in the 80s, basically taking coal backwards and forward, but obviously used I remember it also a little passenger line as well.
Did you?
Back in the 1950s,
Right.
just about, but I don't think there was much traffic on it by then. And I think it closed long before the beaching era. The road over the top is Wall Hill Road, which we sometimes go up on our way home from Saddleworth, particularly if we want to go into Albion Farm. Morning.
Morning.
It closed to passenger traffic in 1955
Right.
and finally closed in 1963. So this is the measurements.
What does it mean, measurements?
It was what it tells you
Was it-
there, the
what's-
measurements. It was a factory producing instruments.
Was it?
Frank worked there for a short while, and then it closed in the 1980s. Yeah.
What's an
It's all
odd
there.
name, isn't it?
Yeah,
Measurements.
probably because they were precision instruments.
Right. Is that the picture you got?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
that's
horses,
excellent,
yeah.
isn't it?
I just saw the two of them, one behind the other, not really much of the picture, then suddenly they moved.
Look at that red
Yeah.
knob
Given
on
the
the
shape
end.
and the size and the colour, it looks a bit like a chimpanzee's bottom.
Oh, too much information again.
thing.
What?
I never knew about this anywhere before.
Where's
In
this?
1880s, it was a little railway carried on up to Castle Shaw when they were building the reservoirs.
That's a long way, isn't it?
Hotel now, I've not been in for years. It was always called the Old Bell Inn when I was a kid. And it wasn't, it was just a private house at the time, or a restaurant or something. But it was a coaching inn in the past, and we've been stables at the back. Right, we go up here now to Dobcross.
Okay.
Steady climb, I shan't be rushing. See, when I was a kid, I was coming over this way quite often, either walking or on my bike from Diggle over to see relatives in Saddleworth and back and so on. But, been over here for years now, last time I did it with the car. So it must be in the teens the last time I walked in this direction.
Was it that long ago?
Dobcross Centre.
It is, isn't it? I think we've been here before.
We came on, we
remember?
where we went around from Diggle and Old
Yeah,
Stanage.
we have done a
We
walk
came down that
before.
way.
And there's the Swan.
Or we can just head down to the garden centre, which is about 10 minutes. Or we can go in the pub and have a cup of coffee. It's just
Oh,
open.
that sounds a bit warming
Yeah.
in weather like this, isn't it?
Just open this door.
Yeah, let's go. Did you say?
More of the weavers' cottages there.
Oh,
The wooden
yeah.
floors. In the old days, and before the Industrial Revolution, all the settlements were on hilltops. The valleys were flooded and boggy ground. It was only when they wanted to build mills where they could access the water they started building things in the valley bottoms. So they were all on the tops, and the roads were all the roads over the hills, not the roads in the valley bottoms.
Right. That was really warming, that cup of tea. But did you notice that sign in the pub? It was about the Platt Brothers. Yeah. Did you say that?
Well, it's a bit surprising. I mean, I always knew Platt Brothers was an engineering firm in Oldham.
Yeah.
But that was implying they were in the textile industry as well. So which came first, the textiles or the engineering? I'm not really sure. There's they had a big lodge in Greenfield by what is now Duff Stones Reservoir,
Yes.
which was the usual tale. It was empty for years. They were going to do it, and then when they got round to restoring it, it was owned by the council or the water boards in those days. It was in such a bad way they demolished it. You can still see the remains of it at the top end of Duff Stones Reservoir, going up the Ashway Valley.
That was it.
But on the hilltop is a cross, a stone cross, that commemorates one of the Platt brothers being shot in a shooting accident up on the moors. Because they were obviously wealthy people, they lived in a huge house, country house, as well as what they lived in the towns. And in the 1850s, I think, or 60s, I can't remember exactly. And, gun went off and
That was
injured
it.
one of them, and he died from the things.
Yeah, you mentioned it,
And
didn't
either
you?
him or the other one was an MP, I think, so that was it. Sticky on. I think we're going to have to be a little bit careful down here, it might be a bit passed this spot on the beginning of our walk, so we're now going to repeat about 100 yards, but when we go under the bridge, instead of turning left, we'll turn right.
Right, okay.
We're going this way now.
Right.
You see, that's the viaduct there, just started.
Oh, yes.
Going across to sort of virtually level with it. There's somewhere around here that this Delph Donkey Line would have joined the main line.
Would it?
Yeah.
I've just fallen over.
Right.
And you weren't there to rescue me.
I carried on with the walk.
I know.
Messing about behind.
So much for the caring husband.
Well, I don't know what you're doing when you lag behind.
No excuse. Well, that's good timing, isn't it?
Yeah, you can see all across the roofs of Uppermill now. Last time I came, all the trees were out, so you couldn't see it. And in the past, the trees weren't as high, and you could see a beautiful view of Uppermill. But then in the summer months, you know, it's all blocked out by the trees, but you can see it again now. Now that's where we started off going along there, and we're now done the circuit nearly.